Hi, and welcome back to the monthly planning series Plan With Me, this time for the month of June. I really love to sit down and record these videos for you because I think it is a powerful moment in time to reflect on all of the different goals and things that you wanted to do throughout the month. It is a good time to ask yourself, did you stay focused on the tasks at hand or did you get distracted? It is a really good time to reflect, how did you do, what did you learn, what can you celebrate, and then obviously also plan for the month ahead. I really like to do these videos for you because it gives me an opportunity to reflect on my own life and all of the different things that I set out to do, because let's be honest, time flies by and I can't believe that it is already the end of May and so many things have happened. I find it really helpful to stay focused on my business ideas and goals because time flies by, and I always feel like if I don't stay focused and if I don't set goals and if I don't do regular check-ins, it is really easy to lose sight and to lose track of all of the things that are actually important for me. And so I am recording these videos for you because I really hope that it helps you as well to understand, how do I think about my own life? How do I sustain my own performance over time? What do I learn? What do I celebrate? And I hope that you are taking a moment as well to just sit down and reflect on all of the different journaling prompts that I'm sharing with you. All of the different journaling prompts are based off of the Peak Performance Planner, my monthly, weekly, and daily planner that you can purchase on Amazon if you want to follow along and if you want to have a dedicated journal to write in. Obviously, you can also just take a piece of paper and a pen, write down the different journaling prompts that I'm going to share with you here in a second, and then get started. Pause the video, reflect on the different questions, and then see what I have to say about the things that happened in my life as well. So without further ado, I would say, let's get started. Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Arndt, and I'm a peak performance coach and stress management trainer, and I'm really excited to dive with you right into the different monthly reflections for the month of May. So let's get started. The different monthly reflections for the month of May are: what did you learn this month? What are you grateful for? What can you celebrate this month? What new experiences did you open up to this month? What makes you happy and how can you add more happiness to your life? And finally, make a list of things that you are ready to let go of. And then we also jump right into the different planning, reflections, and journaling prompts for the month of June. And those journaling prompts are the following. My goals for the month of June are: my self-care goal for this month is, and then finally, make sure that you're always sitting down and that you are putting all of the different things that you're planning to do into your calendar as well and plan your month ahead. So those are all the journaling questions that we're going to dive into this month. And you know that I always like to do a little check-in at the beginning of the month as well, and to answer the questions around my own goals that I set for myself in the month of May, so in the previous video. If you are curious to check it out, obviously make sure you can find it here. And yeah, let's dive into the different goals that I've set for myself. The first goals that I set for myself in the month of May were twofold. Number one, I wanted to really make sure to focus on business development because this is a huge focus for my business in 2022. And then the second big goal was to land my first live event, my first speaking gig since December 2019. And here's my update. So first of all, I'm going to start actually with the latter. The live event happened last week in Silicon Valley, and I did a 60-minute motivational keynote and speech to a one-year program to a team of about 100 people. And it was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed myself. It was really, really great to connect with people live, to get their questions. I felt like the energy was so different in the room. And honestly, going into that event, I was pretty nervous. It had been over 2.5 years since I had spoken live just for myself in front of such a big group of people, and I got, let's be honest, a lot of money for the speaking engagement as well. So obviously I wanted to do a good job, and that put a little bit of extra pressure on myself as well. So what really helped me during this period is to really get prepared and to really write down what do I want to say in which sequence and to practice it. So I basically prepared all of the decks and the slides obviously that I wanted to share, but then I also created speaker notes and I really practiced even on the day when I arrived at the speaking event. And that really helped me to go into that speaking gig with calm nerves, with confidence, and to really kind of crush it. And I do believe that I did. It was awesome. I got really great feedback, and I'm super excited to work with the team over the next year and see how I can make their lives better and help them sustain their performance over time and avoid burnout. So that was a big thing for me, and that honestly took a lot of my time, and also the day itself was super stressful and exhausting. And we drove 5 hours from Tahoe to Silicon Valley, and then the same day 5 hours back with a lot of traffic. My car was giving some issues as well, so it was pretty nerve-wracking day in total, but as I said, super happy how it went. And then the second goal, as I mentioned, was to really focus on business development. I've been working with a business coach on really diving into more automated systems since March 2022. And honestly, it's been kind of difficult to focus on that. I find always other things that distract me because business development is something that doesn't come super easy to me. Let's be totally honest. So I did force myself though to definitely kind of make some kind of a progress, and I also started to track that kind of progress because that usually helps me to see numbers to like kind of keep on going. So even though I didn't do as much as I wanted to or as I hoped to, I still did something. And how I do that is I usually put about 1.5 to 2 hour blocks in my calendar weekly, twice a week, in order to make sure that I'm really dedicating time to that business development. And then I basically started to set up an automated process and automated messaging in order to connect with business people on LinkedIn, because this is where my audience is and this is where I want to help most of my people. And yeah, I started to get a few responses, which is great. Some people wanting to speak to me immediately, some people wanting to speak towards the end of the year, and it's kind of nice to see that something is starting to happen. And I really hope that I can get even more momentum over the next 4 to 6 weeks. I am planning to change some of my messaging around that as well. So yeah, so I'm excited to test it out, and I'm excited that I can at least report that I did something. The next two things that I always like to talk about are my self-care goals that I always set for myself every month. The first one was to exercise 5 times a week, and then the second one was to eat clean 5 times out of the week, so 2 cheat days per week. So how did I do on that? You can see here on the Peak Performance Planner and how I am tracking in the Peak Performance Planner all of these different goals as well. And every time you see a check mark, then that means I met my exercise goal. So I exercised during that specific day. And you can see that I did not hit 5 times every single week over the course of the month of May because I was super busy. I also twisted my ankle and I needed to take a little bit of a break for a week, and I had to cool my ankle for a little bit. I also attended, and I will talk a little bit more about that here in the journaling prompts in a second, but I also shot 3 weddings as a second photographer over the last 3 weeks. So that was a lot as well, and that's a lot of exercise. Trust me, when you're holding a camera in your hand for 10 to 12 hours and you're walking around all day long, that's pretty good exercise, and I didn't count that as exercise in the check marks that you're seeing in the Peak Performance Planner. And so yeah, so I'm still happy with how everything went. I am really grateful that my ankle healed as quickly as it did, because a twisted ankle is the most annoying thing. And I like to run, for example, and I like to exercise, all different kinds of things. So I was a little bit nervous when that happened, but it's all good. Can report that it's almost back to normal. And then my eating goal, well, you know, as I was preparing this video today, I was thinking to myself, maybe I should really just drop this goal because it's really not been working, and I feel like I've been just focusing on exercising and enjoying my life. And honestly, I think for the month of June, I'm going to remove that goal altogether. You know that over the last 5 months I have been really trying to stick to that goal, and I haven't been as successful as I wanted to. Make sure to check out all the other Plan With Me videos that I recorded for you this year, because you will see that I set that goal every single month and I had always some kind of excuses why it didn't really happen. So yeah, so I think for the month of June and going into the summertime, going to travel to Europe at the end of June, I think, you know what, I'm just going to relax, enjoy about that piece. I'm obviously always kind of just mindful of what kind of food decisions I make, and I do exercise a lot, so I think I can cut myself some slack, which I will do. So those are just kind of the high-level updates that I wanted to share with you. And now I would say let's dive into the first journaling prompt and question for the month of May. And the first question is, what did I learn this month? This is such a good question, and I really love to sit down and reflect on that. First of all, I definitely learned that photography and being a professional photographer is really hard work. I have a lot of respect for people that do that full time, because I have been experiencing 3 weddings, 3 weeks in a row over the last 3 weeks. And working 10 to 12 hours and being always on is not a super easy job for me as an introvert. And obviously I'm kind of new to photography. I've been taking photos my whole life and I love professional camera setups and all these different things. Otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here recording YouTube videos for the last 3.5 years. But honestly, wow, what a job. First of all, you know, you need to be super on about your settings, because everything has to be, you know, super set up. It's a super important day for the people, obviously, and they want to have their special moments captured. And if you're not ready to go and you don't have the right settings set on your camera, you know, then the moment is gone. So it's a really stressful kind of experience, honestly. And it is really physically challenging as well, because standing around talking and like taking pictures for 10 to 12 hours is a lot on your body as well. And so yeah, lots of respect. That's definitely my biggest learning, and also that I'm never going to be a professional photographer, because it's really just not what I enjoy doing. I think it requires so much time, both in person and then obviously afterwards editing. But I have learned so many things about my own photography skills that I'm so grateful for. And my friend that has been teaching me, Aubrey, she is the most sweetest person on the planet, and she is absolutely amazing. All of the pictures that you always see on my Instagram, the pictures oftentimes that I share here that are the professional pictures, are from her, and she's just absolutely amazing. And I'm just so grateful to have such an amazing mentor that is showing me how to take pictures, because I'm honestly learning from the best. And that's definitely one thing that I'm grateful for, which is the next question that I'm going to dive into in a second. But another thing that I learned this month that I want to talk about is just new skills. And I'm really grateful for that, honestly. I think it requires a moment to just pause and celebrate this, because sometimes we don't take enough time to learn new skills. And honestly, getting into photography and getting into business development and really learning more automated tools and new software that is out there is just really cool process. I really enjoy that. I like that challenge to learn new things and implement it into my day-to-day. And yeah, and this month I really learned that that's really helpful, and that you can use it, and that it you know, yields the results that you're looking for. So I really appreciate that, and that's what I'm definitely celebrating and learning, and that I'm grateful for as well. And finally, obviously, I also learned that live events, honestly, are just so much more powerful than sitting in front of a camera and doing virtual trainings, which I also really appreciate. And I know it's an easy way to connect with a lot of people live without having to travel, which I also appreciate. But live events are just really different, and people connect in a different way to you, and they just see you live and they can ask you questions, and I feel like you're just not a person behind kind of the screen wall. And so yeah, I think I forgot about that, and it was just really wonderful and powerful to see that again live. So with that said, I'd say let's dive into the next question, which is, what are you grateful for this month? And I already mentioned a few things, so I'm just going to go through this pretty quickly. Definitely grateful for my friend Aubrey for being such an amazing mentor and sharing with me all of her photography skills and all of her knowledge that she has. Really grateful for learning new skills, photography, different software systems. Really grateful for my friends, for my partner, for really supporting me and for celebrating with me and for being there when times get rough sometimes. But May honestly was a great month. But yeah, I've been feeling definitely a little bit more stressed and overwhelmed over the month of May because it's just been a lot with a full-time job and then having a full day event every weekend because of the different photos and weddings that I had. Yeah, I am really grateful for all of that, and I'm also always really grateful to live in beautiful Lake Tahoe. Honestly, at this moment last night when I was driving back from a mountain bike ride with my friends, and we just live in such a beautiful place, and you know, I was reflecting that this is where I wanted to be. This is where I wanted to be 4 years ago when I made this big decision to leave my job and to start my own business. And you know, it's not always been easy. There's been a lot of challenges that have been thrown into my way over the last 3.5 years, but it's been absolutely worth it. And being here all the time and, you know, getting to enjoy this magical place is just absolutely priceless for me. And I had this moment of gratitude last night driving home, and I was just like, wow, it's just so beautiful here, and I'm really grateful for that. What can I celebrate this month? Well, obviously, first of all, the success of the live event. That was really awesome and so much fun. Second of all, my business development progress, even though it's not that much, you know, but even if I just have people responding and saying that they're not interested at the moment, it's at least some kind of interaction. And I think over the month of May, I had about 4 people that expressed interest. And, you know, just talking with different people from different companies is powerful, and I'm really celebrating that. I know, you know, in the back of my head, I always wish there would be more. I always wish I would have more people that I could talk to, but you know, I know that it is really important to also just celebrate the small wins, and I definitely do that this month around. Another thing that I'm really celebrating this month is receiving feedback. Feedback is really a gift, and it's been something that I've been missing from my corporate life, because there you got always a ton of feedback, and that was also sometimes annoying. But you know, when you're a business owner, you are actually really appreciating feedback. I've been appreciating your testimonials on the Peak Performance Plan on Amazon, so thank you so much for that. And if you haven't given any reviews yet, I would really appreciate it if you would take just 2 minutes to let me know how you like it and how you find this helpful. So thank you so much for that in advance. My sister actually also ordered a planner to Germany. You can order the planners from the US and you can get them delivered to Germany as well. And she gave me a ton of feedback on the planner. You know, just, you know, sisters, it's just like sometimes it's kind of hard to hear their criticism, but it's also really helpful because she's really honest, and she gave me a lot of great feedback that I'm definitely going to incorporate into the next version of the Peak Performance Planner. So really grateful and celebrating that feedback. And then finally, one more thing that I'm really celebrating this month is taking care of myself, and really having learned all of the important tools over the last few years to know when things get too much for me. So for example, last week on Sunday, I was planning to go out on my boat with my friends, and after a super crazy busy week with being in Silicon Valley for the live event and a 17-hour day, picking up my boat for 6 hours, also down in Sacramento, which is about a 3-hour drive from here, and then the wedding Saturday, Sunday was just so much. And I came home on Sunday and I felt so exhausted, and I was like, you know what, I know I promised my friends that I would take them out on the boat, but I just don't feel up for that. And I canceled those plans, and everyone was really understanding. And you know, that's obviously really important as well, but setting these healthy boundaries and knowing what you need in the moment is so important. And I really can celebrate this. I can celebrate, you know, canceling plans and saying no to things and taking care of myself, and you know, listening to what I need, either spiritually, mentally, or physically. And yeah, so I'm really celebrating that this month. Even with my ankle, as I mentioned earlier, I had this injury at the beginning of this month where I couldn't really do anything for a week. And yeah, I had to have a friend tell me as well that I should rest a little bit. So yeah, it was really helpful. And I'm really grateful for that, grateful for just being able to read those signals and taking care of myself. And that's worth a little celebration. The next question is, what new experiences did you open up to this month? Well, definitely not just the photography and being a second photographer for my friend, but also doing 3 weddings in a row, week by week, honestly has been a super good experience. You know, it's not all butterflies and rainbows and it's not all positive. However, I am really enjoying it, and that was definitely a new experience that I opened up to myself, and I'm really proud of that. So that was cool. I've also, as I mentioned, that live event and the keynote that I presented was actually a kickoff to a new 1-year engagement, a new program concept that I put together for this team. So I'm super excited about this new experience and seeing all of the different things that I can learn from that. And then obviously my business development strategy and that new software that I talked about that I've been using, all of that has been super helpful as well, and a new experience that I'm celebrating this month. Next question. What makes you happy and how can you add more happiness to your life? Well, there's a lot of things that make me happy. Just living in Lake Tahoe itself is a huge happiness adder to my life. I love living here so much. I love living here during shoulder season, during summertime, during the winter time. All of the different seasons are so special to me and include obviously lots of different outdoor activities that I'm super into. Boating, mountain biking, running, skiing, snowmobiling, all of the different things. So I really enjoy that, and that adds a ton of happiness to my life. So incorporating exercise, exploring new trails, hikes, walks with my dogs, conversations with friends, those are all things that add happiness to my life. Specifically, obviously, my partner is adding a lot of happiness to my life. My friends add a lot of happiness to my life. My little dog, Kobe. There's so many things that I can celebrate, and honestly, I don't think there's very much more that I can add that would bring even more happiness to my life, because I'm a pretty happy person. I've been going through a very difficult time over the last 1.5 years, and I did allude to that here and there in my videos as well. And man, transformation is powerful, and you know how they say, you know, everything that's happening in your life is happening for a reason, and you just kind of need to stick through those difficult times as well. And now I'm looking back and I'm like, wow, you know, I've built such an amazing life over the last 1.5 years. I've improved my skills in a lot of different areas. I have a really amazing community of friends. I have a new partner that's just so wonderful. So honestly, there's not much more I can ask for and add to. And then the final question that we have for the monthly reflection for the month of May this month is, what can you let go of? Good question always, right? What can you let go of in terms of control, or what are just things that are worrying you all the time that are just not really helpful for your mental health and maybe even your physical health? And for me, honestly, it's the fear of trust. I've already mentioned it just now that, you know, I've gone through a difficult time, going through a heartbreak and a breakup in 2020 that's kind of gone into 2021 and a little bit even into 2022. And so it took me a really long time to recover from that and to build trust again with people, especially with partners. And so I'm letting go this month the fear to trust, because I know that, you know, I can't influence it. Like, what's going to happen is going to happen anyway, and it's not helpful for me to cling to past stories and past experiences. And that also counts for my business, honestly, because sometimes I'm just having this like really tight grip and I just try to control everything, and I'm beating myself up when things don't go the way they should be going, I think should be going. And so yeah, I definitely let go of that because it's just not helpful, you know, and it is important to just take care of yourself and to focus on the things that you can control. So that's all I wanted to share with you today for the monthly reflections. And now let's go quickly into the planning for the month of June as well. First question is, what are my goals for the month of June? And for the month of June, there's a couple of different things that I want to focus on. Obviously, definitely business development. That's going to be on top of my list every single month this year, because it is my goal for 2022 to build this business. Another goal is to really set myself up for success in the month of June, because I'm going on my first Europe trip in 3 years at the end of the month. And so I want to make sure that I'm mentally prepared with all of my business things, so that I can just relax, be with my family for 2 weeks, go on a little vacation that I'm so excited about, and not have to work as much. So that's definitely one thing. So I want to make sure that I wrap up all of the business things and just kind of focus. And what else? Definitely, oh yes, I have a first bike race in the month of June, so I'm excited about that, and that's definitely one of my goals, to crush that. Even though I'm not racing, I'm just biking, but it's still kind of a fun way to challenge myself. And that brings me right into the next question, which is, what is my self-care goal for the month of June? And I will continue to exercise 5 times a week. This is super important for me. I love exercise. I love to move my body. It helps me with my mental health. It helps me to disconnect. It helps me to get out of this chair that I'm sitting in many hours throughout the week when I'm working in front of my computer. And so yeah, so I'm definitely continuing to do that. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, no more food goal this month. I'm just going to let it go, and I'm not going to let this influence me or just impact me. And as I already mentioned, I'm going to continue 5 times per week exercise. This is just so important for me because it just helps me with my mental health. It just helps me to be the person that I want to be, that I want to show up as. Helps me to get out of this chair when I'm sitting many hours per day and per week working on my business. And I am going to let go of my food goal, or of my cheating goal of chocolate and sweets. I'm going to just let it go. I should have said that in the last reflection for the month of May as well. I'm going to let that go. I think it's good for me. I think, I've really tried for the last 5 months, and it's just apparently not very realistic for me at the moment. And I'm learning from that experiment and from that experience as well. And I'm just gonna let it go and see how that goes. Without obviously now picking out and eating chocolate every single day. I know that I'm just aware of that, but I think I will just see how it goes this summer. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. I always love to hear from you, so don't hesitate to reach out. This is what I'm here for. This is why I am recording these videos, because I want to help you improve your life. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you today. I really hope to see you in the next video. So take care of yourself until then, and talk very soon.